I'm Jasmine, this is Yemi, and we're your co hosts and co founders of The Spill, where we spill the tea and share amazing stories of Black women founders.
So today we've got Kim John, who's one of the co-founders of Fast Susu, which is a financial tech company that is disrupting the way that people save and think about credit.
Absolutely.
So they blend a traditional community approach to savings, which is called a susu in West Africa and in the Caribbean, and they bring their modern tech approach to that community savings. So
Rotational savings is what they call it here.
yes, rotational savings. So we're so excited to have Kim join us.
Yeah, so if you're new here, grab a drink and let's get into this episode.
Welcome, Kimberly. Welcome,
Welcome.
Kim. Hi.
Hey everybody, Yami, Jasmine, thank you so much for the introduction. So as they mentioned, yes, my name is Kimberly John and I am the co-founder and CEO of Fast Susu. So I'm very excited to be here today and I look forward to, answering any questions.
Awesome.
Yay.
Thank you, Kim. Yeah, so to start us off, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are,
Mhm.
and what you did before you started Fast Susu?
Absolutely. So I am just in a financial and product development enthusiast, and I've been for quite some time. I decided to study computer science in my undergraduate career because prior to going to college, I used to build things. I used to design these innovative ideas and things I wanted to see put out into the market, and I didn't really understand like entrepreneurship culture and startup culture at that point, but I knew like, okay, I'm really good at putting things together. I
Mhm.
always love to sit down with the people around me and talk about ideas and think about how we can improve it. And then I started building it. So I transitioned from just sketching things out and designing them to, all right, let's get on the website and start learning how to build the code to make the website so people can kind of see my ideas. And then I realized, okay, so this is what computer science is about in some sense, right? It's a way to kind of break into it. So I decided to major in that. Um, and then from there, I kind of got involved into the accelerator process of working with other you know, intelligent, innovators and entrepreneurs who are kind of working on building products in their early careers, especially within college before, going into the workforce. So that's my experience in technology. So I have a background in computer science, as I mentioned, with a concentration in bioinformatics. And in my professional career, I am a technical project manager. But recently, I kind of left that area to just work on my own, pursuit.
For any of us who are like joining in and they don't know what a susu is,
Yeah,
tell us, explain what is that for those of us who don't know.
sure. So a SUSU is a rotational savings group that facilitates the process of lending and borrowing among members in a specific community. So my application facilitates that process and allows users to kind of meet people that they don't know or connect with people that they do know to kind of save and meet their monthly goals for the month. So it's really a way to save as a group and gain access to capital up front, depending on when you decide to collect in the group.
And my first time hearing this term, I thought, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, oh, this is a thing because my family, we just like, hey, can I borrow some money during this time? I'll pay you back around this date, da, da, da. And we just, I mean, I don't know how often we do it, but we do it. And but I didn't know that it was an actual thing to have like groups of people collectively and mutually say, let's actually,
Yeah.
exchange around some capital, some resources. And I think that's actually like a really beautiful thing, especially if you're not able to go to a bank or,
Absolutely.
I don't
Definitely.
know, the normal way of getting a loan.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. And so many different cultures across the U.S. Come, they come to America and they still use this process of savings, and it's a way to kind of um, develop and move and take care of yourself while working here in this country before you really get established and build the wealth you need to sustain your families. So it's just a really good way for people to save, and we want to introduce that here to the American market. So I presented on that idea to the accelerator program, and there were about 100 ideas that were up and running to be selected to be developed on that year, and they picked 10, one of which was Fast Sisu, my idea.
Yeah.
And from there, I met my co-founder Amar Diallo, who kind of worked with me to build this app even to this day, because he is very familiar with the Susu concept. He is from Guinea. He felt very passionate. It felt like it was something that his own community and communities, across the board needed to have.
So where are you from? Your partner's from Guinea. Where are you from? If you want to tell us a little bit.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. So my family's from Grenada, so the Caribbean island of Grenada. I was born here in the U.S., but again, I grew up in Caribbean, Canarsie, Brooklyn, so
Nice.
felt very close to home in that way.
Awesome. And just for the folks who are maybe not as familiar with the Susu concept or how widely it's used, could you tell us a little bit about all the different cultures that use it, different parts of the world? Because I think it's really cool that you've taken something that is used throughout the world and brought it into kind of this modern existence.
Yes.
Or that you're working towards that.
So I first got started with co-founders of 4 people, actually.
Oh,
one member was from Nepal, another was from Russia, another, then we had 2 from Guinea.
this is a global thing.
Yeah. So you got a global team going.
Yes, rotational savings, or is what we call it, officially here in the U.S. Rotational savings, which is a rotating savings and credit association. So ROSCA is very popular across various cultures. And I discovered that in the accelerator program when all these different members wanted to work with me, because they're like, I'm familiar with this, my mom does this, or my grandfather does this, like what are we building? Because I know what you're talking about, so let's do it. So then I realized, okay, so I know it as a Susu, but someone in my team may know it as a chit fund. Or if you're from Asia, some parts of Asia, it's called a Kui. And if you're from Latin America, it's often referred to as a Tanda. I mean, it goes on. There are various names and references to it that are both official and unofficial terms that we've found connected us all as a team and culturally. So that's when I knew this was bigger than what I thought it to be, just from my own experience with my mom. And I was like, okay, so I think this could be something. If we build this out right.
How difficult or easy has it been obtaining capital or funding as a Black woman founder with a startup, and especially in tech?
Yeah, I mean, every founder has their journey. Whether you are a person of color or not, there's a set of ways to go about doing something, and a set of requirements that you need to meet as a company to prove that your idea or product is worth something that would be adopted in the market. So so far, my co-founder and I have bootstrapped about $10,000 to kind of get not just the website, the MVP, marketing and everything done. But we have bootstrapped to really just get a lot of mentorship and advisement from professionals in product development, from legal to everything of that nature. And starting a startup is not difficult if you have the roadmap and the steps laid out for you. But the difficult part of the journey is getting started and figuring out which information I should get and collecting everything one by one, and then going through it and then referring to a professional and just ensuring that you're on the right path and you're meeting all the compliances and regulations, or you're meeting all the legal requirements and equity grants. And I mean, it goes on forever. So I think, if anything, if I had those steps laid out for me in a process that made sense for my journey and my company, then I would have excelled or moved on much faster as an entrepreneur in financial technology. As for gaining funding, we've had many opportunities to pitch, and we've won many different pitch competitions, those of which have kind of helped us to put us in front of VCs and angel investors. And once we had these conversations, there was so much interest. However, if you don't have a product out there and you're not gaining some sort of traction or monetary, any money really coming into the app, then it's kind of like we just need to see some sort of traction before we put money into this. So I felt like, my experience gaining, or my journey to gaining funding has been very, it's been a learning experience, and I'm very confident that, once I meet those objectives, that it is possible to get funding. It's not impossible. I've seen many different Black women do it, many different founders do it, but they had the traction to do it. So just any word of advice for any women founders out there: if you're selling a product and you're making money, well, then there you go. You're really, there's no one that can tell you this won't work. And, someone will see value in it. So really develop it and just gain the traction. That's the advice that I have there.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you for that amazing and insightful piece of advice, because one thing I think we discovered is that, what is it, 1% of women of color CEOs get funding. So that's amazing that you were able to do all those different pitches. And you said, the one thing I definitely remember you saying is you and your partner bootstrapped about 10,000. That's a lot to bootstrap. So kudos to you for being able to do that, but then also being able to get funding to go towards the building stages and the growing stages of your platform and your idea. So, wow, I'm just blown away, because not everybody has that opportunity, and not everybody, especially early on. We were just interviewing another. I would consider them tech. We were just interviewing another set of founders. And they described their experience as not being attracted, if you will, early on to by investors, because it was like, I think because of their their color, it was like, well, now you have to prove that you're going to spend this money wisely. We want, it was almost like a distrust. So that's exciting that you were able to get funding so early on.
Yeah. We bootstrapped, the funds for ourselves. So we have yet to get the funding we're asking for, which could be $1,000. Really, we're really almost there. We're really getting close to meeting our objectives there. Again, it's just about gaining the traction we need to kind of get the funding. And my team, they're full of very, reputable professionals. Have a few graduates. I have a graduate from Yale, a graduate from Tufts. My co-founder is at Georgia Tech right now. He's General Motors engineer. I think the team shows that we definitely have the capabilities to manage the application. And then when it comes to getting the funding, every investor wants to know, what are you going to do with the money once you get it? What is your runway, right? Meaning how long will the funding that I give you last? And then what are the goals and objectives you will meet with the funding to ensure that you're growing as a company, so that I get my return back.
Right. That's the main thing. How do I get? Am I getting this back?
And ideally, I'll get back more than I put in.
Right.
Exactly. There has to be some trajectory there, right, in terms of what you're getting back. So, I feel as though there are so many numbers we're going to hear about Black women not getting this and the 1%. And while it may be true, and there is definitely a number of there's a disadvantage here when it comes to Black women and Black people in general working in technology. Less than 3% of executives in Facebook have a senior leadership role. It's terrible. But I mean, we've seen so many Black people succeed in businesses. Once they had that goal in mind and they got the traction and they did what they had to do, there is success at the end of the road.
Yeah.
About your app and the different features that you have, and how you're going about bringing this concept of Esusu, this collective community financial savings, how you're bringing that into sort of, the modern 21st century world. Like, how are you going about that?
Absolutely. So our app is really built on the three essential issues that traditional rotational savings groups has, which is payment tracking is burdensome. For a group of people, let's say Yemi, Jasmine and I, we're in a group, and we're going to start a Susu together. Somebody has to distribute the payment and collect the payment.
I can collect it, guys. You can give me your money.
She said I can collect.
Exactly, right? Someone has to collect that payment, and then ensure that the other members are responsible for paying. But that's another issue. What happens if I do not pay? Then Jasmine misses out on her turn, and Yemi, you miss out on your collection. And
Oh, don't mess with my.
so that's an issue. Then there's also the issue, or an advantage that we see, is that if I am making on-time payments to you over time, why wouldn't that be considered, why shouldn't that be reported to the credit bureaus that I have been responsible and I made a payment back to a friend or colleague or somebody who I may not know? I mean, there's an opportunity there, especially when you're facilitating payments online and you have proof of receipt that you've been making payments towards someone. We can in some way report that and then help younger people, especially people who are in college, establish some sort of history or payment or credit history before they really go out into the real world and need a credit card or need a loan. So it's really a way to kind of prove that you have been responsible in a savings group in the past. So
and I believe you're working with Equifax and you're starting to build those partnerships. Is that right?
Yes, we're working on those partnerships with them. The conversations have really just commenced, but it's not difficult because we really just need to kind of integrate some form of reporting API into our app. So getting that partnership isn't like the most difficult thing. I think the most difficult thing for us would be ensuring that payments that are made to groups are reliable. And we partnered with Dwolla and Plaid. So Dwolla is the processor behind making sure that payments are made using ACH transactions. And then there's Plaid, which allows users to connect their bank account within the app. So you can use Plaid by going into the app, selecting your bank. If you have Chase, then you would literally log in through Chase into their portal, which would open up our app again, and then you're connected. So it's a secure way to connect without us getting your banking details and information. We don't want to hold all that information. We really want you to feel as though this is a safe process. So that's, again, part of the features of our app is that we're ensuring a reliable and safe way to save with others, whether it's a public or private group. And then having the ability to save with others online is definitely a plus and a part of the features. What happens when you want to be in a Susu group or join one where you don't really have any friends to do that with? And I think that's one of the reasons why so many Susus have not taken off in the way that they should. It's because you need people to save with. And just having the ability to gain a loan up front by saving with others, saves you hundreds of thousands of dollars a year paying interest back to, formal business, and loan providers and credit institutions out there. So these are just some of the few advantages of the Susu app.
Awesome.
Yeah, so you can, just to make sure we understand it, so you can save together as a group, but you can also request loans from that group, both people you know and you don't know. Is that right?
Yeah, so you can save with individuals online, and you can actually select a group that has the goal or savings goal that you want. So I'm just going to give an example for the users, and I hope I made this clear. In the example that I have, Yemi, Jasmine, and I, we each have a goal to save about $500 a month, meaning one person will collect the lump sum of 500 and make payments towards that over time. So if there's 3 of us, that means the Susu group will run for 3 months within our application. That means if it's my turn to collect on the first month, Jasmine, you would give me $250 and Yemi would give me $250. Now I have $500. And then in the following month, Yemi, you would be next. I'd give you $250. Jasmine would give you $250. And the process will continue until Jasmine has a turn. And then that's when the Susu ends. And that's just a way to kind of make payments over time towards a savings plan, or just collect money up front, which is definitely more accessible than a loan. And the interest we charge is much less than a traditional, loan provider.
Mm. I think that's really interesting that people, it's almost like a dating app, but for, like savings and money and capital, because you're going to be able to get on there and search. Is that right? You're going to be able to get on there and search for a
Yeah,
matching goal. And then
yeah.
I guess whoever, I guess, is in that goal, whether you know them or not, will be, if you decide to, how does that work? If they decide to be in the group, like what allows someone to say, all right, I want to go for this group? Does everyone have to mutually say, we
Yes.
want this person or we don't want this person? You know,
So
is anyone ever able to say, let's skip this person and keep going? Like, swipe left or right?
so here's how it goes. Going back to the dating part and connecting with people. Yes, on Fast Susu, you create an account and you can see the groups that are saving currently. You can search for groups. So let's say you want to go to Coachella one year. You
Okay.
can search up Coachella and you
Post
can see
COVID.
yeah. You can see all the groups that are saving for Coachella. And if you don't see a group saving for Coachella, then you can create one. Um, and then the process of joining the group, you can, say you want to join the Coachella group, and then you would have to go through this process where you would need to get approved, right? So we want to mitigate fraud and defaulted payments within the application. So you would wait for your approval, and then you would get added onto the group. Now, for public groups, you cannot ask someone to leave. That's unfair. But one thing is that you have to be of a certain tier rating to save in a specific group. So you first get onto the application with bronze rating, and then you have access to all the groups that are bronze level. And therefore, that mitigates someone getting away with saving a large amount of money that they haven't proven over time that they can make back.
Okay.
Um, and however, if you are in a private group, you do have the ability to kind of select who you want, because you can invite only someone to the group, and then members can leave at will. So yeah, that's the process. And I just wanted to clear something: members can leave at will before the group starts, not during
Oh, okay.
commencement of the Susu group.
Okay.
That's good to know.
Yeah. That's like a much more reliable approach than, say, the traditional susu. In Ethiopia, we call it eko, at least in my language, because you could potentially leave in the middle after getting your money, and there's really no accountability. But with your program and your system with Fast Susu, you'd be able to hold people accountable. And
That's
also,
important.
yeah.
That's it.
And I love that you're helping people who may not traditionally be able to build that credit in a way where they're saving money rather than just credit. So rather than borrowing money. So by saving money, people are showing, look, I'm a trustworthy, or financially competent person. So I love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then also, so is there anything else you want to do with the app? Like once you've gotten this part done and people are active and they're joining and you've seen some really like great success stories, where do you want to take the app next? Or is there a next step after this?
Oh, absolutely. After we just continuously build out the general idea, which is to save with your friends, we are working to partner with businesses that allow the users to make payments towards a specific product. Um, that could be at Target, that could be at Home Depot, that could be at, for travel agencies if you want to go on vacation, right? Coachella is just a prime example of needing a plane ticket. So once you save that money, then there's a section of the app where you can actually put the lump sum towards, a flight ticket for the entire group or for yourself.
Nice.
So we want to grow into the retail space.
I love
At
that
first,
because
test that out. Small businesses, yeah, absolutely, definitely. Small businesses, travel, and eventually grow into maybe tuition payments or car payments, right? Just helping communities
I can
make
tell you right now, tuition in itself would get a lot of people like, you know what, let's, instead of doing this loan, let's all, pull our money together.
this product adopted by cultures across the US. We're really trying to connect all these different communities because we have competitors who are focused on one community, focused on another community, and that while that may be a good way to start, and first break into the market, we want to connect, the hui or the tanda or the susu or all the different terminologies for a susu group, and have these people onto this application that has become international now, that we allow users to kind of chat, within different groups, and meet people that they may know in their own communities, or someone they know back home, right? And then have the susu become the WhatsApp of the world, where you're connecting and saving with people in Japan and wherever you are, and have a system that translates the money, the euro to the dollar, right? And just allow people to save across the world in this process that people have already been doing. Let's just make an app and connect everyone in that way. That would be the future of Fast Susu.
Love that. I love
amazing.
the big vision, the global vision, because I think sometimes when Black people create products or services, can be seen as for the Black community, but really Fast
This is
Susu
really
is for
global.
everyone,
Yeah.
right? It's global, and you have that big vision. We love it.
Yes.
Thank you.
So, when can we expect to actively see? Is it a timeline we can look forward to? And also, where can we reach out to you for more information? Can we get people to, join a cause you have going right now? Do you have a Fund Me account? Is there any way we can support you? All those questions at one time.
Because really, we're building a community of people who want to support Black women founders like yourself. So, yeah, all these
Thank you. Absolutely. So yes. So the timeline for Fast Susu is that we're really relying on the funding to get the public app developed. However, we do have an MVP that we are always down for our initial users to kind of test out and take a look at. We have a product design that we will be having about 100 users or more. Yemi, Jasmine, and all individuals who are viewing the spill right now, I would love for you guys to kind of take a look at the app and provide your feedback on the feel of it. How does the onboarding experience look? Transitioning from a member or someone seeking a Susu to becoming a member, how do you feel about that process? Do you like it? What are the positives and negatives? These are all a part of just developing an app upfront and doing proper product design work. So that's where we are right now, just testing and user feedback. And from there, we will continue our fundraising initiatives. Will take us about 3 to 5 months or less, hopefully less. And then by then development should commence, after January. It takes, I think we're looking at about $60,000 for the development of the application. But in that time, at least we have information from the users and the feedback that they've given us on the current design. So that's where we are right now. And as for contacting us and getting in touch, you can go to the Fast Susu website, go to contact, and send us an email. Hit the chat support at the bottom right corner of the website. We're always listening and actively responding to the users or potential, users of the application. So that's very exciting.
Thank you. And then as a last question, we're always trying to discover and help our community discover more Black women-owned businesses. So if you could tell us one Black women-owned business that you love, that you'd like to give a shout out to, that'd be awesome.
Absolutely. So shout out to Airfordable. I've heard about Airfordable as a way to kind of make payments towards an online travel ticket or a plane ticket, and I heard it was founded by a Black woman. AIRFORDABLE, Airfordable.
Okay.
I hope I spelled that right. So
we'll include all the information in the video description and stuff. So
yeah, absolutely. Check it out, Airfordable. Get your travel and plane tickets ready to go for vacation. God willing, things go well after. Things aren't really going.
It can only go up.
Yeah,
I know. Tickets are quite affordable right now, but
yeah, we won't encourage anything.
Exactly. So people are more comfortable to travel, and it's safer for everyone to do so. I'd say get your ticket from Mir Affordable and start planning there.
Awesome.
Thank
You so much,
Yeah.
Kim. This was definitely a pleasure. Loved hearing more about Fast Susu and how it got started and your journey with it.
Yes.
And we can't wait to see this thing
Yeah.
launch and take off.
I'm
I'm
telling you.
hoping that I can get my friends and family to say, "Hey, let's come together and find something to support each other with through your app." So I'm excited.
Yeah, really excited about your app and all the amazing things you're doing. So thank you so much for your time, Kim. For everyone who's watching, you can check out Kim's Fast Susu Company. We'll include the link. We'll include all the information below. So thank you, Kim.
Oh man, thank you guys so much.
Take care. Bye.